Hello everyone, and welcome to the 3DXpert workflow for Renishaw's QuantAM. My name is Safwan Itahriwan, and I'm the technical software consultant for 3DXpert in EMEA. Let's have a short introduction to 3DXpert. 3DXpert is an all-in-one software solution that covers the whole process chain between the CAD system and the printing process on the machine. So we're covering importing the file into 3DXpert. Since 3DXpert is a CAD system, you can just continue working with your solid file as a step file or a direct file format from your CAD or design system. Then you position it on the build platform. You do lightweight operations, design changes, implicit modeling, lattice generation, generative design, conformal cooling channels, and many more. Then you create support structures in 3DXpert. You can also automate that, work with templates. You optimize the technologies, assigning different printing parameters to the same part, do mechanical build simulation, do 2D nesting or 3D nesting, and then you can also slice it. And in this case, I show you how you can slice your parts in 3DXpert using the SDK for Renishaw's QuantAM and export it directly in the file format for the Renishaw printers. So let's start by opening 3DXpert, clicking on 3D printing ribbon, and then opening the Printer and Materials Manager. Here we go into the OEM templates tab and search for the printer, in this case a Ren AM500, which we download by pressing the blue arrow. This saves it in the technology folder in the background and installs that printer. Now I've opened a project, go into the OEM printer manager, select this printer template, and this communicates now with the QuantAM to actually download all the printer settings. Now I select printer to actually select the downloaded printer so that I have the environment. If we go back into the printer material manager, we can see now that this printer is installed. Next step is to add a part. In this case, we take a step file to also demonstrate that we can continue working with step files or other solid file formats, but also we can work with mesh, of course. So if you still have an SDL, you can also work with that. And the next step would be to orientate the part. For that, I'm going to select a face that should be parallel to the build platform. In this case, I select this face here, and then I just flip it, and it looks good. And then I put it a couple of millimeters above the build platform. Okay, so next step is to create a couple of supports, just showing you a very small example. So it has created support regions based on the overhang angle and the lowest lines and points. And here I select from the drop-down menu of the support templates that we've already saved. So here we have a couple of supports. That should be enough for this little demonstration. And the next step is to copy the part multiple times on the build platform. For that, I open this little menu here. There I'll find the 2D nesting. I'll set minimum distance between the parts. So in this case, 3 millimeters. And then I say I'd like to have as many parts as possible on this build platform. And then I start the calculation. So now we have 173 clones. I say clones, not copies. We have instances here that so that we save file size. Now we can go to the next step. I would like to slice the part. For that, I go into calculate slices. Here I see that I have two printing strategies selected for the part and for the supports, and it now is communicating with the QuantAM in the background, which is actually doing the slicing, and therefore takes also the parameters from there. So the parameter management stays in QuantAM, but after its slicing is done, you see we have the MTT, and we can export the MTT file from 3DXpert to the file location of your choice. So it is currently doing that. So it's finished. And here we can find the file in the selected folder. And that's already it. The super easy workflow in 3DXpert in combination with QuantAM, where you just can continue working with your solid file, do all the work in 3DXpert, and have still the material parameters management and slicing done by QuantAM. But you still just click on slicing in 3DXpert and export the MTT file and put it on your machine. Thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, please feel free to contact us anytime. Goodbye.